What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Tribaholics. We are minus one co-host today. Christian is not able to join us. He had some previous stuff that he has to take care of. He's really busy this week. Tried to fit it in for him to make it work, but unfortunately not going to be able to happen. So as you guys can see, we have a special guest with us tonight, the founder of NoleGameday, Logan Robinson, joining myself as well as my other co-host, Ben Stana. Logan, what's going on, brother? I know it's been a busy week for you.
Gentlemen, it feels good to be here once again, back on here, and this time with this guy with long red hair, half of his face, almost all of his body's out of the webcam. We'll work on that, but it feels nice to be invited back here again. Always appreciate y'all support. Y'all are always in the Discord too, so always happy to jump on here and definitely drink up a little bit too. Don't really get to do that on our show that much because I have to deal with Nate and Dustin and all those in Austin. So it feels nice to be away from them and enjoy some time with the boys and drink. Actually, I love drinking, and so it's perfect to be on here with you guys. And we got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot to talk about.
Ben, how you doing, buddy? I know Logan just gave you a bunch of shit, so I'm waiting for a little shit talking to come from your mouth at some point this episode.
Nah, I'm all right. I gotta finish the test I got after this, but I slept till 6 o'clock yesterday, so I'm well rested. I'm feeling good.
That is so weak. That is so weak. Oh,
I'd like to see you sleep till 6 o'clock in one day.
No, here's the deal, Ben. You got to wake up, buddy. You got to wake up. Do it like I did. I decided to graduate this semester and be done with it. Let's amp it up a little bit. Have some fun with this. Grab a beer,
to you, baby.
Yeah, but I got 2 more semesters. I gotta find my wife. I gotta prolong it.
Will one have as long as hair as you do, or have you figured that out yet?
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't know. In Alabama, I don't know what you're gonna find.
But like Logan was saying, we're a drinking podcast. We drink, we talk Florida State. So what is everybody sipping on, guys? We ask this at the beginning of every show. If you guys are watching on YouTube or on Facebook, go ahead and comment in the section. Let us know what you guys are drinking on. If you're drinking along with us, if not, no big deal. Myself, I've got back to the old faithful here in the Bud Light Tall Boys. Something I go with pretty much every single week on the show. But what do you guys got going for us tonight?
Ben, please go. Ladies first.
All right, A or B? I got 2 options for us.
Admit what you just had in your hand. It's not vodka.
Just go with A.
Natural light. Very nice beer.
Okay, natural light. That's fine. I was about to say
that's one of Logan's favorite, or is it Natty Light, or not? It's Natty Ice that Logan.
Yeah, right.
Natty Ice.
Yeah, I don't do the sissy Natty Light stuff. We take it to a different level.
Not all of us are alcoholics, Logan.
I know. I wish I could change my webcam, but if I were to get this off the thing, then I would just completely have to fix that for the next week. But right now, I just found something random. Usually my friends will bring random shit over to the house when we're watching fight nights or football. I'm drinking a Seagram's Escapes. I have no idea what the hell this is. I have zero clue what the F it is, but I needed something alcohol-related to drink. It's way too sweet. I hate sweet things. I hate sweet drinks. And then when we get desperate, when we start talking about the Gators, and speaking of desperate, the recruiting class, I've got on some wine if we run through these.
Brand.
Yeah, really fancy. I went all out for you guys, so I appreciate it.
We love it, baby. Hey, nothing like a $10, big bottle of wine. You can never go wrong with that.
I'm a cheap bastard.
Is that what Christian bought you after your Utah spread hit?
I don't know. I still gotta get my bottle from Christian. I forgot about that. That was a nice bet. So, yeah, Logan, our other co-host, Christian, I bet. I don't even remember what it was.
Utah spread.
It was the Utah spread last week against Oregon, and I won. So I get a bottle of wine from our other co-host. So pretty pumped about that.
Good for you. Stoked. The best part of getting the wine, man. And I can't even bet anymore. Hard Rock's screwed me. Now I can't even do anything.
I got a bookie for you. Offshores, Costa Rica, baby.
Oh, yeah. Let me give it a shot. It's probably for the best because I was kind of starting to get a little addicted.
Ben, I don't think that's something you should put out there, like on a live stream or anything. Your IP is associated with, your computer. So
it is 100% legal. At the FBI, I promise. There's no need to investigate.
At FBI.
I only bet like $1 parlays. I am not making money. I'm losing money. You do not need to stop me.
Yeah, Ben's not the greatest at that. So, with that being said, guys, let's jump into some Noles sports, man. We got a bunch to go over, specifically football stuff later in the show. But let's start off with the Lady Noles, man. Hell of a job. Was it last night? Yeah, last night. The Lady Noles bringing home their third national championship. Great stuff. 2014, 2018, and now 2021. Amazing stuff. And that puts us second all time in women's soccer championships behind North Carolina, which has like 20 something. So
21.
A long way to go. Long way to go for that one. So we'll eventually catch up or whatever. But I mean, we defeated BYU. They were talking about BYU. Seemed like a lot of what happened last year when the announcers were just talking about Santa Clara. Now they're just talking about BYU, showing BYU and all the BYU's fans and whatever. But that's fine. We're hated on in every sport, which is completely okay.
Question.
But yeah.
Do you think their whole team was married to one guy?
The whole team?
Yeah.
I don't know,
that could be a potential.
I mean, if the goalie's like involved, then I'm cool with it. She's very attractive. Redhead goalie over there for BYU.
Whoa, don't talk about Ben like that.
He kind of looks like me.
Yeah, don't talk about Ben like that on the show already. We're only 8 minutes in.
But Yuji Zhao, named most outstanding offensive player for the Women's World Cup. Christina Roque, obviously named best or most outstanding player on the defense for the Women's College World Cup as well. And then Jalen Howell just named Mac Herman Award finalist. So a lot of awards going on for the ladies, but any takeaways from that? I don't know if you guys were able to catch any parts of that game or not, but any takeaways from the soccer game?
I was watching bingo or playing bingo, but I put the PKs on. Hey, I won stuff, but I was playing bingo and I put the penalties on my phone. There are some pretty world-class penalties, confidence, upper 90, just they knew where it was going, they knew we were going in. And there were some really shitty ones, like our second one or our third one, like the fuck was that? She should be ashamed of that, but she's a national champion, so her teammates got her back because it was a really bad penalty.
Yeah, we'll just ignore you're playing bingo while you're in college.
Hey, I won a Budweiser shirt. I'll pull it up.
Were y'all worried at all though? Like after last year going to PKs and then losing 4-1 in PKs and then coming back to it.
Yeah, I was looking back at last year, and that was so disappointing. And I think the team really knew that they had such a good chance to leave with the national championship. And I think determination this season, the way they played, and now you go in, you get into the same exact situation, and you respond. And I mean, Florida State's goalie, beast. I mean, phenomenal. Obviously, deserved that MVP after the game, and that was really fun to be able to talk to you guys in the Discord and celebrate a little bit. This bring home a national championship. Don't get to say that much anymore, but these women's teams are phenomenal, and they deserve all the recognition they'll be getting.
They're the best we got and all we have.
Someone put a link in the Discord for like a football school shirt, and I was like, "That's cool and all, but I will get made fun of if I wear that in public." Like, they'll be like, "Are you that?"
Well, you also live in Alabama, so not much you could do there. But shouts out, to the Lady Noles. Awesome stuff. They're gonna continue to keep fucking crushing it as long as Coach Krikorian is still there at the helm for the Lady Noles. Going to keep bringing in this talent from even outside the states. We've got all these different players from all over the place, and they play for their national team. So great stuff there. And Ben, let's start your rant, buddy, because we're going to be talking FSU hoops. Losing our most recent game here to Syracuse by, I think it was 3 points. Not a great overall game. A lot of struggles from a lot of different areas. I'm not real sure where the team is headed. Hopefully, this week off of, games until Sunday, pays off and we're able to get back on track. But go ahead, Ben. I'll let you take the lead on this one.
I don't even know where to start. We watched us play Penn and we kicked the fuck out of their asses. Like, it was bad. And I was like, damn, we've got a really good team. And then we just went downhill. Like, we got our asses kicked by Florida, who's not good. They just lost to an 0-7 Texas Southern School at home by 17. We were 4 for 30 from the field against Syracuse on our home court to tie the ACC home winning streak record. Like 4 days after we got fucking ran off the court versus Purdue, where we're like, okay, well, there were like 10 minutes of flashes where we looked good. I don't know. It's just kind of embarrassing. Wyatt Wilkes is still playing a significant minutes, and so is Preto. I'm like, do you want to win games? Like, we do not. It's concerning because we say we're young, right? Everyone's like, all right, we're a young team. We got to mesh and gel. Well, that's not an issue for all the other young teams in the country. Like, Duke went out and beat Gonzaga. Alabama was shit 3 years ago. They just came out. They won the SEC championship and then just beat fucking Gonzaga on a neutral court while getting hosed on officially wise. And we're out here blowing 10-point leads in the second half of Syracuse because we're shooting open threes. We can't make free throws, and we're overhelping on defense. Like, are we practicing? Like, what are we doing? Because we can't make shots. We can't make free throws. The defense seems, I guess, aggressive, almost over-aggressive. Not lazy, but just like someone's always open to shoot from three. And I'm like, I don't really understand what's changed in the past couple of years. And it's not just an issue this year because you look over the offseason and we saw recruiting and it was kind of – we got fucked over in some certain areas, but then we also just whiffed on some guys, which was pretty embarrassing. And then it goes back to last year where we had 2 chances to clinch the ACC regular season, and then we probably should have beat that Georgia Tech team. They were not good. And then we make the Sweet 16 because we beat a pedestrian Buffalo team like we should – or Colorado Buffalo team like we should have. And then Michigan just runs us the fuck out of the gym when a whole week to prep, and that's how we come out. I don't know. I love him, but I'm concerned because it appears that the departure of Dennis Gates about 2 years ago is about what time we stopped closing out on big games, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. It seems like almost the veterans aren't showing up when they need to. It's really not even – they don't really have to show up. But just got to get into a rhythm. They've lost everything. They've lost the rhythm. It almost feels like Jalen Worley from the beginning of the season didn't feel the most comfortable. He didn't want to shoot at all, but now he seems to be one of the most comfortable guys on the floor that's wearing a Florida State uniform, and that's what Leonard Hamilton a couple weeks ago talked about in a post-game interview that, I mean, his veterans have got to start showing up or, that's just not going to help if you're just relying on younger guys.
It's hard to get to
right, and I remember him saying that, and he came out and said veterans got to step up, they got to play better. And then you come out and you give up a 10-point lead, like Ben was saying, to Syracuse, and probably one of the worst players that you're seeing on the floor at that point is probably Polite. Just very loose with the ball, not playing, very focused at all, in my opinion. And where was the Polite we saw last year that had all the confidence in the world? We're not seeing that out of him this year. I picked him as like my preseason guy, who's going to be able to lead a team, and he's not doing it.
He's not a star player.
Right.
He's a role player.
Which I understand. And then, but like Malik, obviously, is not a star player either. But, you start seeing teams be able to lock in on him because they understand that we're trying to go into him. And then it takes him out of the game because they're coming over, bringing a double, forcing him to give the ball up and forcing other players to make a play.
I think Polite thrives when he doesn't have to be the guy. He's like the perfect sixth man that starts. He's out there. He does his job. He gets buckets when you need him to, but he's not a type of guy that just thrives under the pressure and can get you a basket anytime and can be the guy that leads the team. So we don't have Turk anymore. We don't have Boss in the paint anymore. You don't have – what else did he have last year that we lost? You don't have Scotty to, like, lead the charge. He's kind of he's having to take that step and he's struggling, which is like we don't have enough talent around him for him to thrive in the role he's good at. Because aside from, like, Cleveland Warley and Malik, like, what real talent do we have on this team? We got, like, 4 really good guys, I think. And we're not even an untalented team. Like, we're too talented to be playing this bad basketball. Which is kind of like –
And I think that'll get kind of righted ship as the season goes along. Guys are going to start getting more comfortable playing along with each other. And I think this, like I said before, this week leading up until this South Carolina game on Sunday, I think there's a lot that Ham can start putting together to get these guys more comfortable or start fitting, their lineups together better to where they'll mesh to create better offensive possessions or be able to mesh better on the defensive side of the ball and not be, too overly aggressive or just, lackadaisical or whatever it may be. So hopefully this week will do it. I'm concerned moving forward. but I'm not ready yet. It's still very early on the season. That was one ACC game. We still have yet to reach actual ACC play. And to be honest with you, the ACC doesn't look all that strong right now.
That's the issue.
I
wanted to bring that up because the ACC is really bad. So I looked at the NET rankings. They came out, which is like the big factor the committee uses. We're 77th in NET today. So if the tournament started today, we're not making it. We're 0-2 in our Quadrant 1 games, both for blowout. We're 0-0 in our Quadrant 2 games. We're 3-1 in our Quadrant 3 games, with Syracuse being that terrible loss in the Quadrant 3. And we're 4-1 or 4-0 in Quadrant 4. So we have no good wins and a bad loss. And we don't really have many opportunities for good wins because I feel like Duke's going to run us out of the gym twice. Louisville probably will beat us, although they are not great either. UNC has size on us. If we lose to UVA, I'm never watching another game because they are atrocious at the sport. That's my point. Is I'm concerned going forward because we had expectations like, we could be a 3 seed, a 4 seed. Now it's like we're already a bubble team according to the top bracketologist. He has us as a 10 seed and one of the last 4 bye sections. So we're not last 4 in, we're last 4 bye. So lose another game, you're playing in the play-in. You're as like a 12 seed, 12v12 to get in the field of 64.
Who's ready for some more Florida State basketball? I am excited. Thank you for that rundown because I'm definitely excited to watch Florida State face Lipscomb and the next time in the Tuck. I mean, but I was just kind of joking there. I mean, definitely 120% sarcastic. It stinks. I don't like it. It was kind of like the getaway drug from the football season to see Florida State basketball kill it and do their thing. And I think it's definitely really, really early. I think Leonard Hamilton is a really good coach. I mean, he's proven that. I just think he's in a spot where his job this is one of the hardest he's had to go through. Classes he's had to go through in a long while with just so many young guys, so many transfers, and trying to get all that to mesh. And I don't think he was expecting to lose so many guys last year. And so I think it's a little early, but right now it's not. I see people on Twitter mad that Florida State fans aren't in the Tuck, and I understand that.
I wouldn't be mad if no one showed up next year after the way we played last week. I wouldn't care.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely that's what I say. I'm like. It's a football school.
It's the same thing though. Like it's the same thing with football, right? If we're not playing well, people aren't going to show up. So like it's just Florida State fandom at its best, like it's at its best and then it's at its worst. When you're good, they're everywhere. When we're bad,
the good news is Ham always finds a way to prove me wrong whenever I have my doubts. So there's slight confidence going forward, but there's definitely a lot of room for concern. And if things continue to stay the same or they don't improve at all at the end of the season, I wouldn't be opposed if he made a run at Gates and see what he brings to the table. Just lock him up for the future because he's going to get a big-time job soon because he's killing it at Cleveland State. He knows how to run Florida State. Like, if Ham is obviously declining, which I don't think he is, but if it shows that he is after progressing last year and then regressing all throughout this year, I don't think it's far-fetched that we make a run to get Gates and just secure him for a couple of years and see what he can do for us.
I don't think you go that far quite yet. I think you still let Ham, try and figure it out, which is fine because he has in the past. There's many rough years that we've gone through with Coach Ham, and you remember the whole thing where everybody was on Twitter, fire Coach Ham, fire Ham, the hashtag, and all that bullshit or whatever. And then, here we are probably about to win probably on our way to win a national championship in 2020 before COVID hits. And, everybody's on the bandwagon. Yeah, everybody's on the bandwagon, loving Ham, loving what he's doing. And then as soon as you see a little bit of, drop off from the basketball team, it just kind of comes right back on him, which is understandable. You're the head coach, you got to take it. But there's a lot of aspects and things that go into it that are out of his control, mainly being it's pretty much a whole new team besides 2 players. It's pretty much what it is. So,
yeah, he's got to stop with the fucking rotation, bro. He's got to stop with that. Wyatt Wilkes and Prieto don't need minutes. You play your best 7, maybe 8.
Well, I think Prieto deserves Wilkes minutes, in all honesty.
Well, Prieto deserves scholarship and just the oxygen that Wilkes breathes. Like, Wilkes should not be walking this planet. For what? Like, if Wilkes went out there next week and he snapped both his ankles, that would be the most most helpful thing he's done for this team all year.
Yeah, and I know Logan doesn't necessarily pay attention to as much hoops as necessarily Ben or I or his counterpart there at NoleGameday in VZ. So kind of quiet
That's
over
why
there.
I surround myself around the experts. I surround myself around the experts. They do their thing. Football might be about 90% of my brain, and then 10% comes basketball. And I've been to a good amount of them already this season, so I'm proud of myself. Pat myself on the back.
Yeah, me and Logan had a basketball day last year.
Yes, we did. You tried to get me to go drink with you, and
you used that joke when you went with Dustin. You use the joke every time.
Well, now I'm using it on you.
Back and say like, Wilkes does not deserve to die for playing bad. That's not what I meant. I just don't like him. I wanted to clarify that because that sounded really bad.
Yeah, now I'm canceled. Yeah. Now this is we're all gonna get canceled. Ben's getting us canceled.
I stand by the ankle injury. If he hurt his ankle,
that was my biggest worry about bringing Ben onto the show and being one of my co-hosts. Is like, am I gonna really tiptoe the line of
the worst thing I've said was like the worst thing I've said was when I called Mackenzie Milton peg leg Pete. Okay, that's the worst. That's the worst you've gotten to yet.
Peg leg Pete.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But with that, boys, let's keep it moving here. Let's get into what everything is going on in the Twitter world, all over the internet, everywhere. And that is the football atmosphere of the world right now. And shit's going crazy. But just another quick accolade for Jermaine Johnson being named ESPN and CBS Sports first team All-American. Dude's been doing it all year, racking up the accolades, but this is huge. This is something you can point to in the transfer portal, something you can point to in recruiting. And I absolutely love it for him, man. Dude deserves nothing but all the accolades that he's getting.
Absolute beast. He's deserved it. He came in as a leader, too, not only just really, wanting to do things for his own self and getting ready for the NFL. I mean, he came in and did everything. And I think Norvell and them have a close connection. It was fun. It was nice listening to him. Whenever he won the Defensive Player of the Year in the ACC, getting to listen to him and talk about how, at first he wasn't even planning on coming to Florida State. He laughed at it and said, there ain't no way in hell I'm going to Florida State. And he ignored a few phone calls from there along with Mike Norvell. And then finally, after like the third call, he answered and said, hey, I'm listened to Norvell, and it completely switched his mind. And it seemed to be a pretty easy pick after that, after he talked to Mike Norvell, and it worked out to be a perfect tandem. And both of them, I think Jermaine Johnson has a really bright future, definitely in the league. And he's got, all these kind of mock drafts of him going in the first round. And there's a lot of good defensive ends going in this draft. And so, even if he goes later, it just doesn't put any kind of hit on him, just because it shows there's a lot of good talent this year. And so Jermaine came in leader, performed on the field. We all know that, but I think the biggest thing watching him at practices and the ways that he was helping develop these younger guys behind him was really special to watch. You don't see that a lot. We haven't seen that in the last couple of years, like last 3 to 4 years. Leadership kind of fell off, but for a first couple months guy coming in and being a leader that Florida State needed on defense, and to have the performance that he had this season was extremely special to watch, and he'll forever go down in history.
That was huge missing on that, especially on that side of the ball. On the defense side of the ball, you're talking about leadership, Logan. I think we've missed that for probably 2 or 3 years now. We haven't necessarily had that guy that's been able to lead, not only on the field, but in the locker room and off the field as well, and just doing it in a classy way. And the way that he does it has been huge, and that's exactly what we needed.
Yeah, if I ever saw him in public, I would just go give him a big hug and say thank you. And just leave him speechless, being like, what the fuck was that kid doing? He would have no clue. That's just what I'd do. I wouldn't say anything else and just leave. And he'll think about it for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Great. He deserves it. And he's just going to continue to rack him up. And I'm interested to see who is going to dial in on him and try to get a steal. Because if he goes late, then that's a steal. Chargers, yeah.
Yeah. Chargers, of course, Ben. Ben wants every no.
Everyone imaginable. So would you have taken Dontavius Jackson? Is that what you're saying, Ben?
He would have been a great
Kalen Brooks.
Great hype man.
Good hype, man.
Caleb Brooks will make a great water boy for the team.
I have no comment. That's not my place to comment on that any further.
Yeah, I was confused when I saw his tweet that he was preparing for the NFL draft. I was like, the what? Hey, man. I hope.
Who knows,
I wish him the
man?
best. I wish him the best. That would be the greatest fucking thing ever if he fucking went out and made the NFL.
Hey, it could happen. You never know.
We are all rooting for you, Caleb, if you're watching this.
Absolutely, for sure.
We are. We root for those.
Some
news that popped off today.
DeAndre Francois. We don't root for them. Or Josh Griffiths. Those three we don't root for.
You might be the worst fan out there, dude. I swear.
I don't like bad players or shitty people. DeAndre Francois was a mix of both. Mackenzie Milton's a bad person. Josh Griffiths was both.
Oh, Lord. But some news that popped off today. Former Florida State linebacker coach Chris Marve is headed to Virginia Tech to be their new defensive coordinator. And as well as on top of that, Randy Shannon has been promoted to the on-field position of the linebackers coach. As we have seen throughout, the beginning of this week, he has been on the road recruiting. Everybody's had kind of an itch and inkling that he is going to be taking that spot, and everybody came out to be correct in that. Your guys' thoughts on that? First off, I want to say I am, tremendously happy for Chris Marve, going and getting a huge promotion like that to a defensive coordinator position, especially at a place like Virginia Tech. That is awesome for him. And we can speak on, what he did here a little bit as well. I think he's a great coach on the field. Not necessarily the best recruiter. I think there are some things water to a fish, bro. Some things that he couldn't necessarily do with recruits, but he's a great on-field coach. I think he does a great job on the field. But Randy Shannon coming in as well, his pedigree with recruiting, and he excelled mostly as a linebackers coach, which kind of built his pedigree into becoming a defensive coordinator and a head coach later on in his career. So just your guys' thoughts on losing Marv to Virginia Tech and, Randy being, or Randy replacing him in his former role.
Ben, go ahead.
It's the perfect job for Marv because he can coach those guys up. He's really good at doing that. But the recruiting expectations aren't really as high as they are at Florida State, Alabama, Miami, Florida, Georgia, Clemson, all those big-time schools. So I think he's going to do a really good job there. And once he's only 32, so if he gets those ties and learns how to recruit, I think he'll take another step up later in his career. And, man, I wish Christian was here to talk about Randy Shannon because Caleb and Christian would just go at it. They are very indifferent on the hire.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's something that Christian brought up. He doesn't necessarily agree with my take on that he built his pedigree from being a linebackers coach, but that's pretty much how he made his name as a coach to get him to a DC spot. And so, like, that you can't say and, say that that's not what happened. So Shannon will help in Miami. Absolutely. Exactly. I think it's going to help tremendously in the South Florida recruiting, which we obviously need help. That's kind of been one of our points for, I think, pretty much every fan out there or analyst like yourself, Logan, is that we need to get into South Florida a little bit more. We're obviously doing a great job outside of South Florida and across the country as a whole, but I think Randy Shannon is going to help tremendously in that aspect for us moving forward.
Yeah, no, I think to go back to Chris Marv real quick, I think the recruiting thing was definitely a toll, and that FSU Twitter went after him about, and that's understandable. And, that's not where his true strength is, and that's being an on-field coach for his unit. And I think now we put a piece out a couple of weeks ago about him being listed on the NFL Network as being one of the up-and-coming coaches that will eventually have a role there in the NFL. And, kind of that's why it wasn't too much of a shock to me. I think for the outsiders looking in, definitely shocked by it, but he's extremely smart, young, like you had just mentioned, Caleb. And I think he has had a great relationships with these players at FSU. And I do think, too, some might be 50-50 on it. I think some might inside that locker room might be really excited that Randy Shannon is now taking that role, and they respect Randy Shannon a lot. That's some of the things that I've been hearing this week, that some of their decisions are going to be made on who was going to be hired at that linebacker room, because as we've seen, we've had a handful we've seen a handful of Florida State linebackers hit that portal, and right now it is extremely thin. And some of them are still wanting to decide if they're going to stick with Florida State. Do they hit the transfer portal? Or are they going to maybe have a potential to look at the league? All up in the air. But I will say there's a lot of respect and excitement for a few guys that want to see Randy Shannon take over that unit, and definitely recruiting wise, it's going to help a lot. There's a reason why he was brought in as an analyst in the first place, to kind of help in certain ways. There's all kinds of rules and here and there's and all that, but whenever you got to see Randy Shannon out there recruiting this week, we knew that there was a move in the works. But recruiting wise, it should help, because Florida State, going into this week, next week, you got early signing day, and there's still another cat out there that Florida State, might have committed to another school in Florida, but I don't think it's over yet for him. And I think Florida State has a really good game plan for what Randy Shannon needs to do, because that unit has been, recruiting wise, has just been kind of pitiful. You got Omar Graham coming next season, but you got a lot of work to do there. Randy, good luck.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest takeaway is, what are we going to do with that linebacker room? We'll probably talk about it later when we're talking recruits and transfers and everything, because we're gonna have to hit it hard. We're gonna have to hit it hard, especially in that area of the defense. So huge shout outs to Chris Marv, like you were mentioning, Logan. I didn't know all that he was named one of those up and coming coaches that is going to be maybe into the NFL one day or anything. But like when we hired him, or when Mike brought him in to be our linebackers coach, we knew what we were getting, right? We're getting a hype man, a guy that's coming in and he's going to put in the work on the field. We didn't necessarily, we didn't think right off the bat he was going to be a recruiter. That wasn't something that, stood out to us when we hired him. So it's not very surprising to see him.
Nothing.
We thought he would be a little bit better than he was. I can agree with that, Ben. Yes. Yes, we can agree on that. But that's not something we looked forward, with him coming into the program. We needed production at the linebacker position, and that wouldn't have happened from, Randy obviously had a hand in it too, being an analyst as well, especially in the linebacker room. I think I saw a tweet earlier from Kalen's dad, Rob Deloach, coming out there and saying that Randy definitely had a hand in the way that he was able to perform this year. But all props to Marv too, because Marv has the most hands-on aspect of those linebackers. So great job for him. I wish him nothing but the best at VT. Hopefully he's able to, continue rising up, those ranks to be able to get to the level that he wants to get to. But a huge position for him. I think it's awesome. And I'm super pumped for Randy Shannon. I know a lot of people, especially Christian, saying he's been fired from every spot he's been in, blah, 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 this, that. We get it. All right. It's Randy Shannon. He's been fired as a DC. He's been fired as a head coach. He's been whatever.
He's been fired as a linebackers coach.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. Exactly. He's now a linebackers coach, which is where he comes from. It's his roots. That's where he's ground in. So I'm pretty pumped to see what Randy's going to do, especially when it comes to recruiting down in South Florida. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, if we don't land every.
With that being said,
from South Florida,
if
we don't land every 5-star from South Florida, there's an issue.
Ben's done. He's going to turn off the TV, and that's all she wrote. He's leaving the Discord.
Ben says every 5-star. If we don't get every 5-star linebacker, it's over.
No,
we're going to fire Randy Shannon.
I want a 32-man class of 5 stars. I don't care what position.
Oh, man. What are we going to do with you?
Not going to happen. Not going to happen, Ben. I'm sorry.
Could start building. It could start building next week. We'll see. It could start building.
Good. And Logan's got some hush-hush that we won't necessarily talk about. So
that makes me think of 2 players. 2 players.
On to the next controversial topic of Florida State athletics, and that is the athletic director search. That has been an up and down roller coaster of emotions and feelings and thoughts and ideas on the whole thing. But I guess the notion is that we are gonna end up hiring Vince Tyra, Louisville athletic director. I think Louisville waived a clause today, saying that he can't go to another ACC school. I want to hear Logan's thoughts. I want to hear Logan's thoughts first because he's probably the most informed on who Vince Tyra is as a person. But not only that, but what he might be able to bring to the table and what, Louisville thinks of him and what he was able to do there.
He's a total piece of, I'm just kidding. Just kidding there. Just some notes that I've been given to kind of, because I saw Twitter, got to see the Discord, and everybody's not so happy about it. And that's understandable because you could have grabbed the guy from Alabama who had Florida State ties, alum. And that definitely totally made sense there. And also, I think, too, I was on the same wave of feeling like this was kind of rushed. Coburn said he was going to take his time. He was going to call it quits after the spring semester. So Florida State had a lot of time here. But you also kind of understand Florida State's point of view where they kind of would like to get things churning. But it seems like they were on their target here, talking about a little bit about him here is that, he's very high on Directors Cups.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't care about Directors Cups as long as we're good at football or basketball and softball.
He's got a really good booster base, and that's the one thing that if he can work well with Alford, then that combines a really good two-headed monster there. Louisville was second or third in revenue behind Florida State and Clemson in the ACC. I don't think a lot of people knew that. Something to really take a note of there. Just seems like I said earlier, this just seems weird that it's a little rushed. Alford, from what I was told, felt fine with staying as that booster CEO role. I think they kind of approached him and asked him on what he wanted to do, and he said he'd rather stay in his realm of what he does best. And I think that works best with adding Tyra in there to kind of combine both of them. But big business guy. I mean, he knows how to bring revenue in. He is football focused, though, from what I've heard. I know a lot of people don't think it that way, and we got to see Louisville fans kind of have hissy fits here and there. But the main thing that they were having hissy fits about is because they weren't focused on basketball. I mean, that's Louisville. That is basketball. And the one thing that he was doing was putting a lot of his focus towards football. So I was told from internally what people were hearing there that he's focused on the football side of things, which is obviously going to make Florida State fans happy to hear. We'll talk about it a lot more tomorrow because I'm trying to still get some more intel on him. But for right now, this isn't a hire where it's I just don't think it's a 5-10 year. It's just, you're just not a guy that's going to be here for too long. You're just not ready for that yet until you're packing stadium sellouts after sellouts until you get to that point, and you're not going to be able to go after these big dogs yet. And that's kind of the feeling right now. And Florida State did well enough with keeping Coburn for what it was worth and what he had to do. That's the kind of money problems kind of Florida State was going through. You kind of got to go with what you can budget wise. And for the time being, this is seems like what is going to happen. We'll see if things go official soon, depending on, all the legalities and how that works in contracts and whatever. But just a few notes on him. Second or third in revenue in the ACC under him for Louisville.
Okay, well that's promising. I know a lot of people have mentioned or on Twitter and everywhere else. Sorry, that's our frame of reference is Twitter, but that's where a lot of us get our news and stuff. But I know a lot of people listen to the NoleCast after previously, being like, "What the fuck?" Like really, this is the guy we're going after. And then a lot of people listen to NoleCast and Bud and Ingram, obviously over there. They know what they're talking about. Bud's got a lot of ties across a lot of universities, specifically the ACC. So, and then a lot of people started to change their minds. I didn't get a chance to listen to it. But, from my initial reactions is I was very concerned with Louisville being his first job in the sports realm of things. And, as an athletic director or so be it. So that was kind of my first thing. I'm like, are we really going to take this guy whose only experience in the sports world is at Louisville, and Louisville is not at the level Florida State is. I'm sorry. It's just not the case. Like you're not expected to have every single sport dominate like you are at Florida State. Like your two things are probably basketball and football. Right. So like it's bigger here at Florida State. Like we expect every single sport to be good. And so like that's a tall task coming from Louisville to Florida State. I like the business background. Obviously, that's a great plus. But I think the biggest thing that worried me was the fact that it's Louisville is his first job, and now he's coming into a bigger program in Florida State, and the demands that Florida State is going to ask of him. Is he ready for it? I don't know. And then you look at that whole Alfred thing, right? Everybody's thoughts were Alfred's just going to be in that booster position and then get, moved up into the AD and all of that. So how's Alfred feeling now? I don't know if that was necessarily promised to him or anything like that. So I saw something probably earlier in the week saying, he's kind of a little ticked off about it or something like that. Don't know if it's true because I don't have the connections like Logan has or anything like that. But, there's some worries that come into play. And then another, specific example is that, they were looking at what he was able to do, and he's come across as a facility guy, right? He's a guy that's going to get your facilities done. He's going to be the guy that's going to get the money there for the facilities and all that. I love that, because obviously that's something we need and we've kind of lacked behind on top of other programs. But I don't just want a facility guy. We're already on our way to getting the facilities. That's fine. What else can you do for me? That's my biggest question. I just don't want, what'd you do at Louisville? Oh, you got the students a tailgating spot. Oh, you created a dorm for the athletes. Great, dude. Awesome. Guess what? Florida State already has all that shit. So what are you going to do when you come in here?
He's gonna
instead of that, because yes, we're improving our facilities. Like I just don't want it to be something that's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's just, I've been very cautious about it. I haven't had a chance to listen to, or watch anything because I work all day and I do as much as I can. But I don't know if anybody's got any other. Ben, take your foot out of the freaking show, dude. That's gross.
What happened?
If Ben just put his foot in the camera. I don't know why.
Thank God I wasn't on the tab. Jesus.
God, dude, I don't get it. But I don't know if any of y'all have like any reservations or are y'all like hyped for this dude to come in. I know a bunch of my friends and everything have been kind of changed their mind a little bit, moving towards liking him as being the AD. I think I've heard Louisville fans be like, wishy-washy on it. They don't want to lose him. They do want to lose him. So I don't know.
Patience, I think, over here from my end. I think it's just gonna be patience, and I'd love to hear some more from him once it becomes official and get to hear interviews. I think it will be definitely a lot to learn. And I think there's some changes inside FSU that need to be done. I mean, current admin kind of things that need to be done that have needed to be done.
That's another thing. It's apparently that's like a well-known thing that I think Bud might have been the one to say it, that like other schools look at FSU's athletic department like a joke.
Yeah, it doesn't have a good, just things that go on all through the years that have happened and things that need changes. It's been really stale and stagnant for a good long while. And so interested to see what he brings, what kind of changes he makes. I think he's going to have to make changes. Maybe that's what makes him, really get some love from the fan base coming in, because right now I don't think a lot of people are really expecting much from him, which stinks. And, that's fine. Let him kind of have that feeling going in. But like I said, patience is going to be the thing here. And this is a football school. That's how it always will be. And if he's coming in from what we've heard with the football focus, it's good to hear, because that's much needed. And there's a lot of work to be done.
Ben, I know you and I have been on the same page. Do you have anything to add or any reservations yourself?
Honestly, for the most part, I've just been talking out of my ass about the athletic director hire. Just didn't jump at me. I wanted the Purinton guy from Alabama.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, man. I'm not wasting my time reading up on a guy named Vince Tyra.
That's the only thing that you do, talking out of your ass? There's nothing else that you say ever that's coming out of your ass?
No, I'm an expert at all things sports.
With the Iowa Hawkeye / Florida State thing with the hanger up there.
They kick our shit in.
Not wrong.
Yeah, not wrong at all.
Okay.
So that's probably gonna be our new AD guys. Vince Tyra,
He's
the
one
AD at
ugly
Louisville right
motherfucker,
now. They
bro.
weigh.
Like, he is
I
just
don't.
ugly. I don't like.
Yeah,
I like that. I just.
So
really want a pretty
what
boy up
compared to
there
you?
anymore.
Like if we were to put a mashup of you and Vince Tyra and put a poll underneath it and said who looks better, who do you think wins?
Definitely me.
Yeah, now there's a reason why you've been sinking slowly back. I thought you were about to go through the fucking wall in the back. You're just backing up, continue. I'm go back into the
We need
damn
to
room.
hire like a McConaughey type guy, and like just good looking dude.
You sure you're on? Sure you're on Natty Light or not some shrooms?
Are you just scrolling
All I'm
through
gonna
your? Are
say,
you
the
just
last
scrolling
thing I'm
through?
gonna say about Tyra is if he's willing to Rick Pitino some guys, I'm all in. I know he got rid of the Rick Pitino. He got rid of Rick, but if he wants to run it back and fix his wrongs and Rick Pitino some guys, get some 5 stars, I'm not gonna say no. That's all I got.
I won't complain about it. I'm all in for the Rick Pitino move.
I'll be one of the strippers, bro. As long as we're getting 5 stars.
No, but that's gonna be our AD guys, Vince Tyra. Mixed feelings all around. Patience, like Logan said, is gonna be key to that. Hopefully, that football focus is what he's on. With that being said, new excuse me, beer burp. Rising Spear, new NIL organization that's been put together by some ex-boosters. Great stuff. I was able to read up on it a little bit. I'm not sure if I know, all the ins and outs of what's going to necessarily be going on with it. I know there's going to be a board of trustees, if you will, and that's going to be, good Lord, headed by former football player Derek Brooks, as well as some other former players. I don't remember all their names, but I know Jalen Howell's on it. Current Florida State soccer player, and then some former players on all aspects as well from football. I think there's a women's basketball player on there as well that are going to be leading the charge. Just kind of creating an organization to be able to get all student athletes opportunities from the local community is what I took from it. So you think of, your local businesses that are out there in Tallahassee. One, for instance, that I worked for, Garnet Gold. It's going to, Logan works for them too. It's going to present opportunities to them to be able to get, some of these student athletes in there to be able to do stuff for them, and, vice versa, just work off of each other, help each other out. So I think it's a great, huge deal for us because we're seeing it across the country right now. These are the things that are being, brought upon at all universities right now. And for us to get ahead of it against all the other, Florida schools, probably besides Miami, but that's, private sector money, whatever BS you were to talk about with Miami. But thoughts on this, guys? I think it's an awesome move for our university as a whole, even though it's not directly correlated to the university. Just getting these student athletes, even if they're not big names, some money in their pockets and being able to put their face and image out there. If they're good at something, why not let them show it? And, we've even seen it with, obviously not Rising Spear, but I mean, Dylan Gibbons going out and Jordan Travis raising over $100,000 to take kids to the local Walmart from the Boys and Girls Club and having them spend $100 each is fucking amazing in my opinion. So great stuff coming for moving ahead with NIL here at Florida State.
Ben,
cool. It's the first I've heard about it, to be honest. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it in Discord. I've heard nothing about it, but it sounds cool.
Ben, I was going to say, if you were an athlete at Florida State, I could see you doing an NIL with a little hair product place. I feel like you would be one of the. I think you could do it.
I got a COVID year and an extra year of eligibility plus a red shirt. So
that's what I'm saying, man. I think it's got to give you a chance on the Quidditch team.
Hey, bro, I'll miss tackles at linebacker for no scholarship at all.
Well, we've seen that happen. There's a guy named, I'm just going to say with my mouth closed. We talked about him earlier. But, no, I think this is great. I think this is awesome. It's a good game plan to have for some of these current students. But, shoot, even more than anything, recruiting-wise, just continuing to show how invested Florida State is. They did this before almost anybody else, too, when NIL became official, thanks to, Florida and what they're doing here and under the legislature and everything going on. and what DeSantis is allowing, what they're doing. This is what he's been pushing on for like a couple of years now. And so, Florida State's had a head start in a lot of this, and they've been putting a lot of work into it. So, like I said, the current athletes have a lot of opportunities, and it seems like it's going into great causes. Like you had mentioned, Caleb, what Gibbons is doing left and right, definitely with his first thing being the GoFundMe and building relationships there with that entire company. He's been almost like the face of them so far as an athlete, which is really cool to see. And now, you see what they did with Walmart and helping children out and families too. Jordan Travis doing his thing. It's really incredible to watch. And it also goes, the Rising Spear, that part too, but also kind of goes to show what Mike Norvell is doing too in that locker room and changing up that locker room. It was much needed. And then bringing in these guys like Jermaine Johnson, Gibbons, Jordan Travis is Jordan Travis, but going to show how much focus there is to help out the community and bring in players that can represent Florida State in the logo proudly. And alums are loving that. Businesses around town are loving that. That's why Garnet and Gold is helping out, and there'll be a lot more too. And so really cool things involved. And I think it only helps Tallahassee out even more. There's a lot of great local spots here that were hit hard with COVID-19. And I'd love to see a lot more teaming up with local places rather than all of these national and big time kind of companies. I'd love to see Tallahassee. It's a great town and love to see more of it. So really cool stuff
from
going
the guy
on.
that teamed up with Chick-fil-A, a national brand.
Whoa. I mean, I was going to mention him. I don't have him here, but I've always got it here. Friends at Celsius.
My Chick-fil-A cards didn't work. They didn't scam. There was
Now,
nothing.
see, I don't understand how I give you a gift card. It's not really a gift card. It's like a coupon card almost to Chick-fil-A, and they deny you. You must have did something to them. Did
Dude,
you
they scan the QR code?
Did you triple text the girl or something like the night before or something? And she's
Logan, I
tired of
don't
you.
talk to women. You know this.
Didn't you say you're looking for love soon or something?
My wife, yes. It's a work in progress.
Well, your right hand's right next to you, buddy.
Jesus Christ. But go back to what Logan said about the locker room and everything. I think it just speaks like Logan said about Mike Norvell, the type of kids he's bringing in. It's amazing. The locker room is completely changed in such short of time. And seeing these guys go out there and do good in the community and care about the community the way they are is huge. And this Rising Spear campaign that we're putting on is going to be great. All the players, former players of all sports that are associated with it are great. I think they're going to be great for, this whole entire thing moving forward. But with that being said, guys, we're probably going to get into the most fun part of the show here. And that's going to be what's going on with the coaching carousel, with recruiting, with transfers, because it is a freaking madhouse right now. And we'll start off with the impact of Billy Napier and Mario Cristobal hires. How does that impact us? And
I am loving
Go ahead, Ben.
the Hillbilly Willie hire, bro. That shit is incredible. I mean, it just mirrors exactly what we did. We rushed our hire. We found one guy that was known for recruiting. I mean, he got known for recruiting because he pulled 5 stars at fucking Alabama, dude. It's fucking Alabama. I could go to Alabama, you give me $50 a month, I'll get you a couple 5 stars. It's not that hard. And this guy, and now we're hearing he's processing him out. Like, dude, I'm so sure you processed out your only quarterback who was a top 10 kid, top 150 kid, top 10 quarterback in the class. You just wanted to process him out like, all right, buddy, And then Jaden Gibson decommits and immediately gets a future cast to us. I mean, I'm loving it, bro. I mean, it's like charity at this point.
It's definitely entertaining. I'm in a group chat with one of my friends who is just obsessed with the Gators, and he's talked trash with me since the early 2000s and now, and just being able to have a good time with him. Of course, he got to have his laughs and giggles a couple of weeks ago when we were in Gainesville, allowed him to have that and told him, that was a disappointing loss for Florida State. But now it's the offseason. We get to have some fun. And Florida State had a good offseason this last year and, starting off strong. And with Billy Napier, things are in mass exodus mode for recruits and anybody wanting to be near Gainesville right now. I mean, I think for tonight, They made a big time hire with Corey Raymond, grabbing him from LSU, DB coach. That's definitely a big one there. But other than that, who in the hell have they hired? I mean, that's one of the things where the recruits are noticing.
Louisiana guys, building that Sunbelt staff, baby.
Yeah, he's bringing them with him, and
and just an FYI, guys, this is my dad chiming into the show. He's a UF grad, so he's always tapped it. So
we would have never known, Caleb, that this was your dad Skinner with the last name. I would have never even known that.
It's not a dead giveaway or anything. But,
well, I was gonna say, if I'm a young kid, let's say we're back in high school and whatever, and who in the flying F would I know of Billy Napier if I'm a recruit? Like I would have zero damn clue of who Billy Napier is. And I mean, it's not the only thing that's going on with it, but they, not only if they're going to bring in recruiting guys and guys that can bring guys in, but when it goes into in-game coaching, Billy Napier has had an up and down rocky road with that. I mean, Nate's talked about it.
Way.
Yeah, he's just been up and down, and that's kind of goes with how Willie Taggart did in his past, and it's crazy to see the parallels that we're looking at of the storyline of Willie coming in, and like you had mentioned, Caleb, that storyline of Willie coming in, and then you've got Napier going down to Gainesville, and how almost identical it kind of is right now. But it's going to be interesting to watch. There's still so much. There's a long road ahead, and this is a transition class. We understand they're past the 70s. They're past like the double load more on the 247 Sports site, team rankings. Ton of time to go. But if it was me, I know we'll talk about Cristobal here in a second. But if it were me, if I'm an FSU fan, who am I more worried of the future right now? It'd be Cristobal in a heartbeat over Billy Napier, and that's just the truth right now.
I don't think either.
I just don't think I get the hire
with Billy or Chris.
I don't get the hire overall.
For which one?
For Florida, I don't understand the hire for Billy Napier. You have big names still out there. I mean, Brian Kelly even reached out, apparently to UF, and nothing was able to come to fruition on that. And then he's obviously headed to LSU, but I mean, outside of that, there's other big names that you could go and get, and I don't know if that's something with Strickland, or if that's just the direction that they're deciding to head in because they see the success that we've had with Mike Norvell up to this point. I don't know what they're going through, but they're seeing a lot of attrition, especially from the recruits. I mean, Ewers obviously decommitted, Gibson decommitted. It's just like it's a whole fall apart. I mean, I think they've slid from like maybe the 12th overall ranked 30.
He was 31 when
31st.
When he was hired,
they were 31 when they were hired, and now they slipped to like 70 something. Like it's insane because of all the decommits. So I don't know what's going on there at Florida, but it's not good right now.
I'm enjoying it. It's good for us.
Florida State fans are absolutely loving it. And mentioning,
I would trade that loss to Florida with our recruiting class and not having to play UCF in a bowl game compared to what Florida has going on 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, so Florida State, going with what Napier is doing and the fallout there, and yes, it's a transition class. I'm sure we'll have some Gators fans in here. I already got Uncle Silk and whoever the hell else over there tweeting us about our last article that we put out about an hour ago, which is exactly why we did it. We want all of your engagement and clicks. Thank you. It's number one on Google right now. If you search Billy Napier, thank you, UF Nation. Number one here is that Florida State has a chance of making a flip with Gibson. I mean, Florida State is pushing hard with him. That's a 4-star wide receiver. And, Florida State and Dugans, they're looking for a guy that can win those one-on-one matchups. That's something that they've been lacking. They lacked it this last season. I think your only guy right now who was a true freshman was Malik McLean that can do that. He should have had so many more shots at that, I think, this season. We got to see it a few times where they gave gave him a shot. I think he kind of is a little Greg Carr where you can use him in the corner. I could talk about Malik McLean so much more and how they should have used him this year. But he's really, I think right now, your one-on-one guy until Travis Hunter obviously gets on campus. That was your only guy last year was Malik McLean. So Gibson brings a whole different kind of scheme to that offense in which you can utilize definitely in the red zone. So Florida State and staff, they're going after him, and that would be a grab from UF. And Napier's just letting him walk off and slip right into Mike Norvell and Kenny Dillingham and Ron Dugan's hands, and we'll see if that works. Right now, it seems like Florida State is pursuing pretty hard on that frontier. And, yeah, thanks for the clicks, Gainesville.
Little swamp.
Yeah, that place. I hadn't been there since 2013. Whenever Florida State, we know what Kelvin Benjamin did, and that place is. I mean, I'm sorry for if there's anybody listening that lives in Gainesville, but compared to Florida State and walking around campus and things, it is not even close. I mean, I thought I was at a factory plant watching Chernobyl on HBO. I mean, I'm being completely serious too. It is, I mean, even after Florida beat Florida State, I mean, dead area, no kind of fun. I mean, that's the advantage you have at Florida State is college town rocking no matter what. Definitely after a win. I mean, after the Miami game, I don't think anybody went to sleep until the sun came up. But man, that is tough place to be down there. I feel bad for your dad's gonna hate me now.
Hey, he can take it. He dishes it out, so he should be able to take it.
Good.
Well,
I like a good trash talk. It's fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You know, maybe we're all wrong. Maybe Florida has something in mind. Maybe Billy Napier has some things in mind, and it's just gonna, you know, come to fruition for them. But I'm not 100% sold on their hire. But let's switch over to the other Florida school in Miami and their hire of Mario Cristobal. A lot of ups and downs in that hire as well. I personally think they did Manny wrong in the way they handled the whole situation. I don't feel bad for him, you know, because it's obviously Miami, but, you know, you got to have a little bit of a heart at some point and be like, all right, you know, like you could have told this man way before he was out recruiting, flying across the country, going and doing all these things that, hey, man, we're not going to retain you. Instead, they just kept him in limbo. But thoughts on the Mario Cristobal hire? Not sold on it. I mean, I just think it's the same thing. Like we were talking about, you know, Hillbilly Willie with Napier. Why can't this be the same thing? Because you're dragging a coach from Oregon to come to Miami, which is what we did with Willie, to come to Tallahassee. Didn't necessarily work out for us. Is Cristobal still going to have the same effect down in Miami that he had up in Oregon? I'm not completely sold on that at all.
He's an upgrade because Manny fucking sucked. But he's a 12-0 recruiter, but he's about a 6-6 in-game coach, which levels out to 8-4, 9-3 a year, bumping our strength of schedule and getting outcoached by us every year. So I'm all for it. I mean, I watched this man get his ass kicked 38-7 by Utah, a bunch of 3-stars. 3 weeks later, he comes out. He made adjustments, had a chance to change it. They lost 38-10. His adjustments gave him a field goal. That's what happened in that one. Like every year he's been at Oregon, he's had the best facilities, the most money, the most talent. No close second. USC's been down forever. And he still finds a way to fuck it up. He should have been in the playoffs every year, but he's always losing to someone he shouldn't every single year, multiple times.
Yeah, no, he's definitely had a better he's just got a better background, definitely, I think, than what you're looking at it with UF. I think there's still a lot to prove for Billy Napier, but Mario Cristobal, the main thing for him, I think they'll do pretty good recruiting wise, but it really just is going to depend on what they can do on the field. He's got a lot to fix. They put a lot of money toward this first time. Really, Miami's putting a ton of money into this. They found it. A lot of that usually goes into academics at that university, but they're going to really full send this, and this is like their last little throw at it, I feel like, with Cristobal, and he's going to bring a lot of his guys from Miami or Oregon up there on the West Coast, and it'll be interesting to see how he does and recruits being smack dab right into a pool of where a lot of talent is, and we'll see if that's a major threat to Bogner-Bell. But it seems like we'll see. I mean, it could kind of this next week, really the 2 weeks overall, the storyline of one target that Florida State has been after could kind of just in 2 weeks put together the whole storyline of what the future could look like for Mario Cristobal if something happens with Basanti. I mean, Florida State highly after him, thought at one point that they were getting him, ends up going to Miami. But now, things that we're hearing, it's getting tricky. It's getting interesting now to where Florida State can make this would be huge for Florida State. Not only that, I know we'll get into recruiting in a bit, but really Mario Cristobal and what he's trying to do is start off. And I don't know. It'll be interesting. I do think he's a good coach. And like I said earlier, if I was going to be worried, not per se like worried, but if one were to get my attention more, it'd be Mario down at Miami over Billy Napier.
Yeah, and that's where I was going next is like, I'm more worried about that hire than I am with the Billy Napier hire. I might be wrong at the end of the day, but bringing in Mario Cristobal is a huge move for them. Obviously the right choice, bringing, Mario back to Miami, where he's from, all that good stuff. So it worries me a little bit, especially when it comes to recruiting. I mean, he's got those ties, very big ties. So it's huge for them. It worries me a little bit. I mean, new head coach coming in, and then you're still going to be able to keep this thing, Basanti, or however you say his last name. It will be huge for him if they're able to hold on to him. Like you were saying, Logan, we're trying to make a move for the third or fourth time at this point. But I mean, you put a guy like that down there, it might change the direction of that Miami program. They thought they had it with Manny, but it didn't turn out that way. I think Mario is a much better coach than Manny on the outside when it comes to, running a Power 5 program. So we'll see what happens with that. Still not sold. Still have a lot to see, but that's kind of the big splash that we were expecting from Florida, right? We expected that from UF. We expected UF to go out and get one of these guys, one of these big name hires, and they weren't able to. And then Miami does. We'll see what he's able to add to his staff. Like you said, he's probably bringing some guys over from Oregon. But that's probably the biggest worry in the state of Florida right now is probably Miami bringing in Cristobal that can affect, us personally.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Ben's ready to fight. Doesn't care what the resume looks like. Ready to go in the ring, put the hands up, and get after it. Speaking of get after it, are you still sipping on that same natty light that you had an hour and a half ago?
No, I finished my White Claw.
That's what you wanted to hide from us, but I can't say anything. I'm drinking fucking Sutter Home Pink Moscato. My girlfriend couldn't finish the bottle, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm just
very excited. I'm just very excited for you, Logan, man. Like, you've got a girlfriend finally, dude. Like,
wow. Here's the deal. It's Tallahassee. I think we've had this discussion before plenty of times. It's Tallahassee and Florida State, and there's a lot of distractions always. There's a lot to it's like going to the zoo. There's so many cool things you can look at, and to stay focused is really not easy. So
it's got a giant strip club.
You just compared Tallahassee to a zoo.
There's some things out there that can get you. There's some things out there that can grab you if you're not careful.
All of a sudden you see a flamingo, and then all of a sudden you got a giraffe. I don't know what to do.
You never know what could grab you. You never know what could grab you. And sometimes you want it to grab you really. You want to grab you really, really good. But those days are no longer. I don't go to the zoo. I don't go to the zoo anymore.
This is a beer and sports podcast, Logan. I'm gonna have to ask you to stop talking.
This is. You don't know what's in this cup, even though I just poured it right in front of your face.
All right, boys. Recruiting and transfer portal. Things are heating the fuck up. It is a shit show. It is a literal shit show. I can't keep up with it at all. I've tried to. It's insane. I think we have 7 players in the portal that are former Florida State players.
Hopefully more. Tell Jerry
Well,
Jones
there will be more.
fuck out of here, bro. They gotta push that man to the portal, the NFL, anywhere but Tallahassee.
I have no comment on that. I have to go to the practice. I'd rather not have like an accidental slip right into my jaw, helmet to the jaw. So I don't. There's definitely going to be some moves. Who do you think's up next? Who, if you could put some money down, we're on the roulette table.
Jordan Wilson.
Well,
he declared 27 minutes ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think. Yeah, Dustin texted me that. I didn't know if did he put that on Instagram,
Twitter.
Oh wow!
Well,
I
just saw something that.
Well, I was thinking transfer portal. We know that was happening. We know he was calling it. Who are we thinking?
Well, I think I just saw something from 247 say we might try and max out that new rule. With
perhaps
being
Amari
able to bring in 32. So there's if that's true that we're gonna try and reach that threshold of 32 spots open available. I think right now we're probably around somewhere in between 16 and 20, somewhere around there. So there's going to be some attrition, obviously. I mean, there's some. Are you asking like next guys to go, Logan?
Yeah. Who do you think would be? You don't have to be one guy.
I mean,
I can see.
I want to focus on like I would say my focus would be on the defensive secondary.
I could see Gainer going to another rumblings.
Yeah, I think there's some certain things with him where he is wanting to figure out who was going to be the next linebackers coach, and I think there's some positives to that. Randy Shannon to be that coach, there were some positives that things are going to be all fine there for 33. So that's it.
I like it.
Absolutely. I mean, if I like speaking of like when I said secondary, I mean you look at guys who came in as high blue chip guys, right? You look at your Travis Jays, your Akeem Dents, your DeBory Tate, like you had mentioned, Ben. Those are kind of guys you want to keep an eye on because they didn't necessarily. I mean, obviously Akeem Dent kind of came on towards the end of the season, but he didn't really, wasn't consistent throughout the whole year like we would have expected him to. Travis Jay has kind of been MIA. Obviously we had the injury. That first season, or I don't even know what it was. Was it it was something to do with transcripts or something like that, I believe. But you start to look at guys like that, guys who aren't going to get the playing time. And then the younger guys that came behind them that Mike was able to grab, like Amarion Cooper, Brownlee, all these guys are getting playing time because they're better.
Mm-hmm.
They've shown in game film, specifically game film, that they are the better producers on that side of the ball. So I say you start looking at that, especially with the guys you have coming in, right? So you have Sam McCall, you have Travis Hunter. I don't want to put this out there, but because it's probably not going to happen. But like if a guy like Amari Wilson or something like that, comes to fruition throughout the next couple of weeks or next few weeks or so. So I just see more attrition happening on that side of the ball. I think maybe 2-3 wide receivers could probably be gone as well. So those are my two areas that I think guys could probably, be like, all right, I'm out or like the coach or the staff tells them, hey, I don't know if we're going to have a spot for you because you are for one reason or another. I don't want to specifically say one because I don't want to be blasted by anybody in the comments or whatever. But that's where I see the two biggest places that it'll most likely happen is going to be in the wide receiver room as well as the secondary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's going to have to keep an eye on a few veterans. Well, I'm interested. Well, going back really to freshmen, I'm just going to go all over the place now. I'm just hammered drunk after my second glass of wine and whatever the hell I drank before that. Feel like I just got that first drink from Dollar Tree. It tasted so great. Freshman wise, you're looking at DeMaury Tate, who, we saw him all the time at practice. He was on scout team for a majority. There's a lot that the team sees a lot in him. The coaches do. There's just things that he's got to fix internally with himself. There's just things that he's got to do in order to see the field more. This is a new coach in Tallahassee. That things aren't going to work the way they used to. That's just how it is. That's how Norvell is going to run the ship. That's not just how he's going to do it. That's how he set it upon all of his coaching staff. And so, Coach Woodson and Norvell see a lot of it in him. And you'd like to keep that talent. You'd like to see where he's competing for a starting job next season because he's got the talent. He's built. He's a build guy. He's done great with his body. Good to see him in person. He plays well, but it's just tough. He's made plays during practices, and it's like, dang, don't get to see 12 out there. And which mainly got to see him in scout. So we'll just keep an eye on Demore Tate. And then, a guy like Keyshawn Helton, I don't know. We'll see. That's a guy that is he kind of just wants to call it there. He's such a great ambassador for Florida State, so there's not going to be any kind of, hey, not any kind of pushing out there.
That would be kind of the hard ones, right?
Yeah, as a guy that's represented Florida State very well, came back from a really nasty season-ending injury and has been there in pivotal moments to make big-time grabs. But I'm just wondering there on what he wants to do. And the kind of ended the season this last season, injured, got to come back against the UF against the Gators. So there's a lot of different things. Jarian Jones, like y'all just mentioned. What does Travis J do? Is he saying
bye, Jarian? Bye. Bye. I do not. That's one player I do not.
That's what a lot of the wide receivers told him as they cooked him and they scored touchdowns.
That was pretty good there, Ben. I got to give it to you. But Travis J, I mean, that's a guy that's extremely talented, and from what I've heard so far, at least the beginning of everything of things going on, there's no plan right now for a departure, but I don't think Florida State and him have had a sit-down meeting yet, because Norvell has kind of been all over the place. The whole staff has been across the country, so it's kind of tough for these exit interviews to happen. And recruiting with the early signing day coming up, all this being combined, it's kind of hard for a lot of these meetings to happen. I've just been told there's a lot that have been moved back because of staff being all across the country. So there's going to be a lot more interviews, definitely with these guys that were starters last season, were in the 2 deep, who played a good amount of time last year. There's going to be talks inside of these offices, and the really big staff change that you're having as of right now, unless anything changes as of right now, it's really just Randy Shannon to linebackers. And from what I heard, it's positive.
Yeah, and that'll kind of lead us into this question from William. When do we start seeing FSU bring in transfer players? Because I know that period lasts longer than obviously early National Signing Day. So we're going to kind of wait and see us take transfers until after that period of time.
Yeah, I think after having, I want to keep calling it National Signing Day. I feel like we should, because that's really when everything goes down nowadays.
It practically is. Yeah.
Yeah. But after signing day, you kind of get a feeling of who you got, your numbers for heading into really the true offseason in the spring. And that's still, I think the staff is not going to rush things. There's going to be a lot of players from different schools across the country that are going to be leaving. You wait during the spring. I think Jermaine Johnson, Keir Thomas, Gibbons, they didn't end up committing to Florida State till way deep into the offseason. So I think the staff is going to play that patient game again. There's going to be a lot more names. We are just getting started. There's going to be a lot more names. There's still exit interviews going on, just like how Florida State is. Exit interviews are still happening for the next couple of weeks. So
all right,
and that's something that patience. I think I said last episode that there's already, I think, a third of D1 athletes in the transfer portal at this point. And that is insane to me. We've never seen something like this. It's like we saw a little bit last year, but I don't think we've ever seen anything like this in terms of guys just moving on. But I think it's a lot to do with coaches moving. The coaching carousel has been insane. And that's part of the reason why too. You see USC, obviously with Lincoln Riley going over there, all his guys coming back and going with him as well. I mean, like Malik, that quarterback, 5-star guy, automatically decommits, then immediately commits to USC. So it's going to be an interesting thing to watch happen. But next question is, who do you guys think or want for us to target? Because I know there is a lot of speculation, obviously, out there today. Once Max Johnson hit the
Logan,
portal
tell us everything you know about
quarterback
Max Johnson.
from
Everything.
LSU. So
Everything. We want to hear
Everything I know. I was neighbors.
well, I think
Johnson's.
FSU Twitter literally wants every single transfer that enters the portal.
Yeah,
okay.
no,
All right, fine. If you're not going to tell us about Max Johnson, tell us about Marvin Jones Jr. One of the two.
JJ, you're giggling there for like the last 5 minutes, or you
want me to read the tweet? It was from Aaron. It said, "Bro, a junkie outside of CVS just asked me for $4 for his antibiotic prescription. Showed me a random ass cap. $4 That's why I was laughing."
I thought you were gonna give us some kind of like good scoop, and that's why you're like putting me on the line there about what's going on with Marvin Jones Jr. I was like, what happened? What's happening? What's leaking out? What's going on?
No, that's just typical Ben bullshit. You'll get used to it.
Berg put in a CV for Marvin Jones Jr. and Berg's full of shit. I don't know. Because the Bama guys I talked to, one guy, he's pretty in the know. He said it was like 60-40 FSU. That's what Fong said too. He's leaning FSU because he can play day one, but I'm not really sold on it. I'll see it when I see it.
Back to transfers, Ben. Back to transfers.
Down, and his scrub brother, he can play for us too if he wants to play.
We're gonna draw you back, baby. We're gonna draw you back from recruiting because we'll get to recruiting in a second. Transfers, Ben. Who do you want? What do you see? What are you looking at?
I would like Max Johnson. I'll take his brother if we have to have him for Max Johnson. Who else is there?
I don't know if you've watched his brother's highlight tape, but it is freaking unbelievable. The
I'm
way
probably
this
better.
This
but
kid
okay.
runs routes from the tight end position is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, he's running routes against air. Put him on Dion. See how he runs routes. Then let's see what happens.
And Dion on Prime.
Yeah.
Prime's you think Prime can still cover him in the wheelchair?
Prime can do everything he wants to do.
Besides be our head
could he steal your girl?
Want that.
He can't steal what I don't have, Logan.
That was the joke.
It's like when people try to it's like when people say I'm doing stuff I have no dignity. I'm like, I didn't have dignity to begin with.
I didn't have dignity.
What
were we talking about? Johnson and Johnson? I mean, the Johnson and Johnson thing, the one fun fact, I used to be almost neighbors with them, but used to spend a little bit of time there, visited the house.
Meet
my
their,
dad.
Parents and stuff?
Huh?
Ever meet their parents and stuff?
Yep, met Mr. Mom? Brad. Yeah, I got the guy.
Yeah, he met
what?
Big bad Brad.
Yes. When my parents were building a house, they went to go visit their house to kind of get some ideas for what they wanted to do. And this is when I was a little jit, so I remember barely a little bit of it, but I do remember the house. They live. I think they still are they in Athens now? Are they in Georgia? I don't know. I don't remember, but anyways, it's still way too crazy early to call for the Johnson brothers. From what I've been told, to the relationship with FSU and Brad haven't been too fantastic. There's a reason why he hasn't been really involved with the program for a long while. That would have to be fixed. I think, that's something I'm not entirely sure. Norvell's crazy. Like he's crazy. Norvell is like wild. And so if he puts that on one of his tasks to do of the day to kind of do that, there might be a chance he could fix it, but I'm not too entirely sure that can be done. We'll see. It's way too early, but we'll see if anything transpires.
I had zoned out for a second.
Oh, wow. Did he go to smoke a doobie? He just gone out. Leaving it to me and you is a really bad idea. If you want
taking
to
a piss, hold it down. LOL. All right. Well, no, but what does he have to fix?
There's a relationship there between Florida State and Brad. Like Brad had just, from what I've been told, hasn't had the brightest relationship. So that's something that he would have to fix.
Is Brad being
first?
He got benched for a Heisman quarterback. Is that like the T there? What's the issue? Why doesn't he like it?
I think it's more than that. I think it's someone with the admin, and I'm not entirely sure if it's with his coaching staff when he was last year. But
I mean, I'll give Brad I'll go talk to him. I'll set him straight.
Yeah,
I'm not very happy of you calling out my private chat to you boys. Like, I could hear you while I'm doing what I'm doing.
I didn't see it. Ben's like, "Hey, everybody, Caleb's
Logan
taking
asked
a
where you went,
piss.
and then he thought you went to go smoke. So I was like, I'll go find him. I was like, oh, sorry. Are you
No,
embarrassed that you pissed? I mean, everybody pisses.
Had to relieve myself a bit. Thanks,
Caleb,
Ben, for sharing that information.
he
with
doesn't want to know that
everybody.
he pees. He does not want to let anybody know that he pees.
But I'm back. Yeah, I don't know about the Johnsons. We'll see if that comes to fruition. I didn't know all that. Logan, I was listening to you guys. But I didn't know all of that. So we'll see how that pans out. But I don't know if there's like really any transfers that I'm like super high on, at the moment. I mean, obviously Micah Pittman would be a good addition, but
from Alabama.
But what happens if we what happens if we land Gibson, Coleman, and Camden Brown?
Then I'm cool with bringing Micah Pittman in for like wide receiver.
Like I don't know. It's just there's a lot to happen in between now and early national signing day. So
what is Azariah Thomas's position? I know he's an athlete. Is he DB or wide receiver?
Who?
Nobody knows.
Who?
Right. Azariah Thomas, the guy we got Bud put in a crystal ball for today.
Yes.
An athlete.
I think he's
4-star, right?
4-star,
Yeah.
Composite.
I think he's right. Pom poms with the cheerleading group. Nate and Dustin. That's why we have them. That's why I give them. Those are the experts here. You're
All
really
right, get Dustin on the phone. We got.
Yeah, let's call him real quick and see if he can give us the inside scoop there.
Logan.
What about
Logan's like the CEO head coach that just brings in people to do the work for him.
Have you heard of Nick Saban? Have you ever heard? Have you guys ever?
He does a shitty job and contributes nothing, but he still gets all the clout.
Well, the hardest thing that I work on is getting my clout. That's the hardest thing that I have to do every day, and it's not easy.
I'm sure it's very hard to tweet all your breaking news from your personal account.
I remember y'all giving me a lot of shit for doing that, and it's worked out. I mean, damn, the analytics, y'all got to check it out. The graph is rolling upwards. But I was going to say one that you guys might really want is Jared Versay, the JUCO, or not the JUCO, but the Albany defensive end that has entered the transfer portal, who might be one of the top 5, top 3 best potential guys you can get out of that transfer portal. He is a machine. And if you're wanting to replace Jermaine Johnson, this is where you start off. This guy is extremely speedy. I suggest everybody go watch his film. Jared Versay, just extremely fast. I mean, we're talking the speed of DBs as a guy that's 6'5", almost the size of Jermaine Johnson, maybe a little bit smaller than Jermaine Johnson, but almost as fast as you. Yeah, almost as fast as you. I'm giving you that, but extremely quick, and he'd be a starter for Florida State this upcoming season. So he's actually visiting this upcoming weekend, and Florida State's got to do everything in their power to land him. That would be a huge addition. That fills one of those holes that you need to fill heading into next season, is replacing either Jermaine Johnson or Keir Thomas, and that would take care of one of those. That is a very talented guy from Albany, and he's already got that college experience. And go watch his film. It is really, really impressive to watch.
Has Lovett decided yet?
Not yet. I think there's some optimism that he'll be running it back with Robert Cooper. Cooper and him have gotten really close. So
we get Lovett. I'm feeling good.
We love to hear that. We absolutely love to hear that.
Yeah, we love every bit of it.
But I guess the biggest question comes down to, because it's the first thing that's probably going to pop off, is recruiting. And a lot of this stems from the coaching carousel. There's a lot of guys right now that are decommitting, specifically, Florida players, former Florida commits that are decommitting. The biggest name out there that a lot of Florida State fans have been on since it happened, probably about mid-afternoon, is Gibson. So a lot of traction around there. I think maybe even Sonone put in a CB for him earlier today at a 6th level, which is pretty decent. So what are we looking at here? And it all goes back to, are we really going to go to that threshold of 32? Because there's a lot of guys we can go grab right now.
You think, Ben, you're the expert of doing all the math and figuring out who's in, who's out.
What am I trying to find? Who's coming and who's not?
Recruiting.
I mean, yeah, like depends. Like we're going to finish the class spot. Like who we're going to bring in. Like if we're going to fill out all 32. I mean, I feel like there's a legit shot we try to fill out all 32.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Mike says he's going to do it, he's probably going to try to do it.
I think it's going to be in the 20s. I think it'll be either mid, if not lower. With just the talent that's coming in, though, I think fans can work with that. I mean, you got looking back too of the success that Norvell has done in that transfer portal. I think he's relying a lot of the numbers and what the future, all the numbers there's now. It's just so hard to keep up with the damn numbers from left to right, scholarship, transfer portal, guys leaving. Does it count towards someone being let go of the team? There's just so much that goes into it. But I think right now, Florida State and Norvell have been one of the best programs in the transfer portal, one of the best colleges, and finding success there. So, with what happens in recruiting, with signing day, early signing day, I think the number is going to be in the mid 20s, low 20s would be my prediction right now for FSU. I think it's going to be an interesting next week. I mean, I feel like every day there is something happening. I mean, not just something. I mean, it's left and right, something going down, and we're not even close yet. We're now just a week away, but it's going to be a long next 6 days because there's just so many things going on. The staff is not. I don't think there's any kind of relaxation. They've been on it, just like he had said.
They're kind of relentless.
He's been on the plane.
They're kind of relentless.
They're like annoying a little bit. I'm just kidding. They're
not.
Mike
lands Marvin Jones Jr. I will fly down Tallahassee and give him a big old kiss on the lips. That's what I'll do.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you're going to be. I don't think he's going to allow that. You can have that in your dream.
What is your cat doing, Logan?
I don't know what the fuck is happening. What's going on? I'm getting my Christmas lights ripped off and might ruin that helmet that I never gave away.
That's the cat that looks like it was going to kill you in the Discord that one time.
This is it. She's wild. Yeah, y'all like the Christmas lights back there too? I added that for you guys.
Yeah,
it was just for you.
It's good stuff.
Just for you, nice little romantic. I got wine and everything. Hopefully, we'll be able to get off of here live and do some things privately.
Good God!
Only if you said that in the red.
If Marvin Jones Jr. Commits to Florida State, what would you do, Ben, except for kiss him on the lips?
I did a little bit of the calculator thing they have on 247 or whatever, right?
Mm.
And I was just throwing it out there like we land MJJ. I put Kamari Wilson in there. I don't think that's gonna happen, but and then I put Campton Brown, and then obviously put Armella in there, and some other guys too that we're pretty high on and probably most likely gonna commit to us, and it'll move us up. I think what are we sitting at right now? 11 in recruiting rankings, and so like that would even some of those dudes will move us up to a top 10 position, anywhere from 6 to 10, and then if you add a guy like a Kamari Wilson, it'll move you up to like a 4. So I mean, I didn't even that. This was 2 days ago, and this was before the news of Gibson and the other Florida wide receiver decommitting from them and everything. So this could be a slam dunk for Mike, is ultimately what I'm saying. This could honestly be a slam dunk for Mike.
I mean, Clemson's crumbling. They lost their athletic director. Cristobal has shit for brains next to the nose coach. Billy's a fucking loser. Like, the layup is here. Don't fuck it up, Mike.
Well, you also forgot Dabo Sweeney's back to saying stupid shit, too. So it's always
Dabo Sweeney is a racist, Christian, terrible human being.
Have y'all landed any sponsors yet?
We'll see if anybody wants to.
Who wants to sponsor? Who wants to? Anybody to sponsor? I mean, Jesus help me. But no.
But I mean, what are we? Is there anybody specifically that we're looking at that? This is probably a better question for Nate. But where I know Sonone put in that thing for Gibson today. I don't want to just like hop on the high horse, whatever. Sanone's like a 94% hit in this year so far. So he's been pretty hot compared to Berg. I'm just very curious to see, you know, what your guys' thoughts are on recruiting. Are we going to pull some of these guys? Are we not? Are we going to lose a guy or two because of it, or what's going to go on?
Yeah, I mean, overall, this. If we go to were you mentioning Armella too?
Yeah.
Can I speak on Armella too for one of the guys we can talk about? But Julian Armella is a guy that LSU lane, I think, for majority, at least wanted to go SEC route. And kind of whenever Coach O was let go there and they did that whole departure plan for him, definitely opened up a lot of leadway for Florida State. And that's where Mike Norvell and them, you know, went in more and pursued. And they already were in the first place, but only helped out that situation there. And that's where I think Julian Armella is you know, kind of a Florida State, heading into Florida State's favor, heading into early signing day. Marvin Jones Jr. is going to come down to Florida State and Alabama, and that is always fun. It's going to be Mike Norvell versus Nick Saban, and Nick Saban is able to poach talent out of South Florida whenever he pleases.
I can't wait for that midget to retire, bro. I'm fucking sick of him.
Is he really that short?
Dude, he's like 5'5".
God dang, it's always just short.
I don't know,
that
but
are like
I can't
dictators.
If we land Marvin Jones Jr., I can't wait for all the Mike stuffing Saban into a locker memes. Like that'll be an all-time thing. But I mean, I don't know, man. I keep flipping. I mean, that's probably our biggest guy right now, right? We've laid out the red carpet. We go back and forth with him. We love him. Obviously, his dad and his mom have been very active on Twitter and in the media about Florida State. But you know, you don't want to necessarily drill him too hard. But I don't know. It's gonna be a tight battle, and I guess we'll see. You know, I would love him. I would absolutely love him. I mean, I love Njai Kelly too, but I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. Get him to flip over from Miami.
The interesting point of having Marvin Jones Jr. come for Midnight Madness, right? Whenever after COVID was done, and the NCAA finally lifted all that total BS of visiting schools, Marvin Jones Jr. was one of the many that were first in the doors at 12:01 to see Mike Norvell and the rest of the staff. And since then, he's been around campus quite a bit, been to games, was there for that Miami game, which I think was huge, and got to see Florida State come away with a win. I think the relationships, Florida State has done everything correctly here. They've done everything they could. This will be their last go ahead, and it's going to be the last hoorah for Mike Norvell if this can actually happen. And, you know, we'll see. You know, does he want to go build his own legacy somewhere else? That just seems to be the case kind of for Florida State and what he wants to, what Florida State former players like want to do. Devin Bush did that, wanting to go to Michigan. It just seems like Florida State always gets the bad end of the stick with these recent legacies. I think they'll grab at least one of them with either Armella or Marvin Jones Jr. this upcoming weekend. I don't know if they'll go 2 for 2. If they go 2 for 2, I'll slam a wine bottle on the next show that y'all invite me to.
Unfortunately, we're not going to have to worry about that, I don't feel like. But we can hope.
There's always
we can hope. We'll see what happens.
You say that, Logan. You say there's always optimism, but whenever I'm optimistic, I just get hurt. So I always assume the worst, and I'm never hurt.
Well, don't add in all your girlfriend and girls' problems either into that. It only adds up from there.
All this could have been avoided.
All right, boys.
The Girls on Game Day show.
Girls on Game Day could have been avoided. He would have. Hey, we might need to bring that back. We might need to bring that back.
No, I'm not gonna lie.
Never mind.
There's a point like when that first started that like I was out partying when I still lived in Tallahassee that like I went out and I met JC. She was really fucking cool, dude. Love JC. Had a great time with her. We went out. partied, went to Township, and had a great time. So those girls are awesome. Like if y'all bring that back, I would absolutely love that. But I understand there's some extenuating circumstances that some things.
Girls on Tribaholics. Let's make it happen.
I was gonna say with your hair
girls
getting
on Tribaholics.
your hair getting that long enough, Ben, might be able to put you on the show.
Dude, Logan, if you're jealous, just say so. Like
I am. I don't think I could rock the long hair. I don't think I could.
Oh, I'm bringing it back. It's in work. It's a work in progress.
It's coming.
The long hair is coming back.
It's gonna be
like 8 months.
It's all right. It takes.
Yeah, it's gonna be raining in Tampa very soon.
Right.
It's gonna be raining. What's gonna be raining? That could
There's
mean
fucking dollar bills in the club.
Oh shit. I hope I'm invited.
Yes, just head over to the Mons.
What'd you say, Ben? I don't even know what he said.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. I'll go back and listen. This was a hour 40 mark. Perfect. I'll go back and listen.
All right. Yeah, we're getting late. All right, Ben. You got the preseason Heisman and playoff predictions that we had?
I don't have our Heisman predictions, but I have our playoff predictions.
All right, let's go over them. I know Logan wasn't a part of it, but he can tell us how stupid we are.
All right. I love doing that.
So we're going to start with Caleb. He almost got this one right. He had UGA beating Cincy, which, he's 2 for 2. And then he shit the bed. He said Texas A&M over Oklahoma, They beat Alabama. They did their job, but not your best one.
Dang.
Just missed.
And then your national championship is Georgia over Oklahoma.
Oh, you're close.
Then Christian had.
Hey, my natty's still alive. So
who was your Heisman?
My Heisman was Corral.
It's not bad. You were looking good for a second. Yeah. Christian, he keeps saying he had Georgia, but in our thing he has Ohio State over Oregon, and then Oklahoma over Bama, and then Ohio State over Oklahoma.
Oof. Christian shot the bed on that one.
So here's where the good playoff predictions are. Alabama over Ohio State. So 1 for 2. Then I had Oklahoma over Georgia. Then I had Bama over Oklahoma. And my Heisman was Bryce Young. So Bryce Young's about to win that on Sunday or Monday, whenever it is. Maybe it's Saturday. And then Bama's probably going to beat Cincy and then Michigan in the championship. So I'm looking good on that one.
Wow.
Look
at you.
I said it in the beginning, the first show when we did our playoff predictions. I said, Georgia's got talent, but I'm not going to bet against Nick Saban. And I actually put money against Nick Saban last week, knowing I said that, and I lost it. So.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Just did that to yourself. That's the worst feeling ever. When you already told yourself.
I got a 5 to win 10 futures on Alabama. So.
Well, it kind of looks like I have the best odds to be right, honestly.
How?
Because I've got 2 out of 4.
I have 2 out of 4.
Okay. Well, but you have your guys losing to each other, so you're fucked.
No, I had Georgia losing and then Alabama beating Oklahoma in the championship. You have Georgia beating Cincy, you're 2 right, and then Georgia beating Oklahoma. So it comes down to Georgia, Bama again between me and you.
Ah, shit. I'll take it. All right, Ben, another thing for you. Introduce the bowl pick'em. I think we have changed our minds of what we were going to originally do. We were just originally going to do us, well, not us 3, but our other co-hosts. We were just going to do a bowl pick'em and then, put out, our records to everybody. But I think we're opening it up. Are we opening it up, Ben?
I mean, yeah, I can do that. I got to log in, then share my screen, then share the password.
Oh. Thought you were giving away your password to everything. I was like, God dang it.
You didn't want to explain any of it. You just wanted to, give the details.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess I can do that part too if you let me pull it up.
Jesus,
jeez, dude. I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh God,
this is why everybody's here. I mean, look at that. This is a fun Wednesday night. I mean,
For all of you who don't know, Ben does the least amount of work possible.
Well, guess who made
for
the
podcast
outline this week? Guess who made the outline this week?
Someone give him.
Ooh, because you were pissed off one day and decided.
Someone. Oh God, I'm seeing myself like 80 times. I'm in an aneurysm.
You don't get to be on here. Only I get to be on here. So it's this one right here. It is Tribaholics Podcast. That's the name. It is private. I think I can turn it off. I can change that. That's me. Max entries is going to be 1. We're not doing 3 because if you need more than 1 member to be good, then you're not good. Like, do better. How do I change this? Oh, the password. There it is. We'll make it public so you don't have to remember like lowercase h is the password.
Oh, thank God.
But yeah, it's right here. Join it. It's a confidence pick. You'll go in and you'll make your picks like this. Very simple concept, And, you have Middle Tennessee over Toledo, and, points for win. If I think Toledo's the lock, I'll put them there. They're my highest points. They're all the way down here. So basically each one you get right. Like if Arkansas beats Penn State, I get 37 points. Oklahoma State beats Notre Dame, 38, all that jazz. And, the highest amount of points, they win. A very special gift, which is a postcard from me.
Well, I think
your cologne
what we
on
should
it?
do is if whoever joins it, if you guys are watching, you're joining it, we'll probably make a post on Twitter about it as well to put it out there to everybody who, might have not been tuning in tonight or didn't have the chance to. Whoever wins, I think I should be able to send them, a free Tribaholics koozie.
Oh,
I
my
want
God.
to put $10 on it to take people's money, but, not everyone's down for that.
Yeah. Well, you can't really do that when it's a public sphere of people. It's kind of hard to kind of group that together. So
It's all right.
I'll just give away. Maybe I'll send 5 koozies. Make it worth your while.
Logan will throw some
You
Chick-fil-A.
never have enough koozies.
Yeah. The ones that won't work for you. I mean, I've never heard of Chick-fil-A not taking a coupon. So this is news to me. I don't know what goes down in Alabama. But I was going to say, if you do send a postcard, you got to put your cologne on it and your hairspray. Let them get the real feeling and the smell of you.
It's going to be an explicit postcard. It's
going to be a good postcard.
going to be really good.
Yeah.
Show it to your mom. Don't show it to your children. You will get in trouble. But show it to adults, Get my brand out there.
The brand. It's all about the brand.
All about the clout nowadays.
It's all it's about, putting the cloud out there, putting the brand out there, just doing your thing, man. That's what we do. That's what Ben does. That's what I do. That's what definitely Logan does. I mean, Logan's brand is huge. Speaking of which, shout out NoleGameday. You see me wearing the hat. Logan's got his hat on as well. Y'all go follow NoleGameday. They're affiliated.
I'll mute your ass for a damn week in the damn Discord right now.
They're affiliated with Sports Illustrated. They put out some great fucking content. It's amazing, from articles to the Hear the Spear podcast. They do amazing stuff, guys. So go check out their articles and everything. Go follow NoleGameday on Twitter. I just went ahead and gave Logan his shout out, so he's not even gonna have to do anything for a sign off. But my name is Kale Skinner. I'm your main host, creator of Tribaholics. Yes, I'm gonna start claiming that as like my thing. Creator of Tribaholics. You can follow me on Twitter.
Co-host. That's what you sold me on. Co-host.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have a conversation after this.
I'm the main host.
And what am I, the assistant to the regional manager instead of assistant regional manager? Is this what we're getting to?
You might as well be a cheerleader.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did that way too good. Your technique was almost perfect. I'm a little worried.
I know our thing.
But you guys can follow the. You guys can follow the at CHS Nole. Obviously, follow the Tribaholics on every single platform: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and follow us on YouTube, or subscribe to us on YouTube at Tribaholics. It's everything Tribaholics for us. We appreciate you tuning in. Any last words, boys? And I'm going to toss it over to Logan first because he's a lot nicer than you, Ben.
Man, I get to go before Ben. Well, appreciate you guys a ton for inviting me. It's always fun jumping on here and actually getting a drink with my co-host. Like I said earlier, my co-host on here, the Spear, don't really drink, so someone's got to be the man and grow some hair on their chest and drink. So I'm excited that I got to come on here with you guys and hang out. Always fun inviting me, Caleb, and definitely love what y'all are doing and always in the community helping us out at NoleGameday and giving us a hard time. And it's always a fun time with y'all. So definitely appreciate y'all for having me. As always, it's gonna be fun next week for you guys too, with all this stuff going on. So it's good for everybody. I love all these different kind of shows that's going on. I think it's great for the community and definitely FSU Twitter. So appreciate it, gentlemen.
Fuck the Steelers. That's my last one.
Oh yeah. I don't even know. What's your team?
The Chargers, who beat y'all, bitch.
The Chargers? That's right. I forgot that you're one of those. Like, had to pick as many FSU players as they can on one team and go for them.
Because Caleb's sorry-ass organization got rid of Jameis and signed Tom Brady. So I left the Bucks.
So, were you
okay, so that's a sorry-ass organization. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry you downgraded at quarterback.
There was definitely a downgrade for sure. I do agree with Ben there. There was a downgrade and
system quarterback. Disgusting.
There's a reason.
Well, system works. System works, boys. Go Bucks.
It's a Mickey Mouse COVID year at Super Bowl. It doesn't count.
Fire the fucking cannons, boys.
Gosh, you sound so sad when you say that. At least you
Fuck
don't
you,
wave
man.
a little yellow rag around.
Whoa.
That is true.
Whoa. Just beat the Ravens. No one was expecting the Steelers to win that game and just come out and beat them and then get ready to go on a run where we can get at least 3 wins out of these next 4.
I'm
not even nervous. Big bit.
Your quarterback should be in prison.
Prison?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. My fingers do hurt with how many rings I do have on. Like, I can barely lift this left arm right here.
I got 0 because I'm not a part of the team. What position did you play for the Steelers?
I played number 1. I played starter at Clout cheerleader. So I'm the Clout cheerleader for Big Ben and his entire. Yep. I'm part of the promotional team that the Steelers have hired. It's all under wraps, so we kind of work anonymous. But I'm doing a really good job this year with my numbers.
I'm really proud of you.
There you go. Proud of you. Definitely proud of you.
Yes.
Well, guys.
Fuck the Bucks.
Thank you, Logan, as always, brother. I love you, man. The first time we met, I knew we were gonna be boys. It was an awesome time, man. I appreciate you every time that you come on to our show, and I always love showing you guys love over there at NoleGameday. So as always, thank you for coming on. I know I didn't thank you beforehand, so I needed to do that and get it off my chest.
You should be privileged that we invited him.
Mm-hmm. You talking to me?
It's love all the way around.
Yeah, I was talking to you.
Yeah. We need to send Ben. He's got a test to do. I mean, Jesus, he got to help this kid.
Yeah, Ben's got a bedtime. Ben's got a bedtime too. So you might as well just go ahead and end it here so he can take his test and then get into his comfy sheets and have his dad tuck him in and everything. So, guys, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Tribaholics.